Good morning. Good morning, Rabotai. Welcome back to Breakfast in the Class, post Yom Kippur edition. Breakfast in the Class today is sponsored in loving memory of Sammy Ibani, Alav Shalom Linishmat Shemuel Ben Chana, who always exemplified warmth, generosity, and dedication to his family and friends, and was loved by all, dedicated by his family. Also dedicated for Refuah Shema, for Rabbi Eli Abadi, Eliyahu Shimon Ben Mazal Fortuné, for the continued health of our Rabbani Chana Farchi Chana Bat Sima Fega, and as well the week of Cold Brew. I think we could say after his Aliyah on Yom Kippur, and the year of Cold Brew, sponsored by David E. Ash, in honor of you and your substantial capacity to good today and every day. My friends, what I'm going to say next is really a combination of things. It's kind of like a dedication, but it also leads us into the topic I want to speak about today. You know, on Shabbat, I mentioned, and Nathan, this is what you asked me about when I spoke about Shabbat morning. I spoke about a fellow whose name is Brad Greenbaum. And I mentioned that Brad Greenbaum had a tumor which was inoperable, had 3 successful surgeries, but eventually the doctors told him there was nothing more they could do. And the family understood at this point that there was nothing more that they could do. So they wanted to try and give him a nice smile to make him feel love of people around him. They knew he loved Jewish music and that he was a massive sports fan. So they reached out and asked if anyone knew any singers or knew any sports players that could record a message to him. It would maybe lift his spirits. If there's nothing else you could do, at least maybe we could make him smile. So I heard about this from Rabbi Reuven Bragimov, and I reached out to a few people in the community that I knew who had interactions with sports players, and asked them if this was something that they could do. I also called my dear friend Yaakov Shweki on the spot, made a video, sent it to me within minutes, had a beautiful message. Hey Brad, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. Singing him a song, encouraging him, etc., etc. One of my friends, I only found out about this on Thursday night, so I called them on Friday, and they put everything that they were doing on hold, and they got me a message Friday afternoon, which I managed to send over right before Shabbat, before Kippur. Okay, a couple other people told me I'm working on it. I spoke to this one, I spoke to that one. I sent what I had, and then I sent that message, which actually came from Sammy's son, of Jason Tatum, a superstar basketball player, sending him a personal message. And I sent it to this person who was compiling the videos. And this person got together, and I got sent back from someone else, all different players that had actually responded to these messages from different people, all different people, Jewish people that didn't know Brad. Patrick Ewing, who was one of his personal favorites, sent him a voice message. Eddie Curry from the Knicks, John Starks, Andy Pettit from the Yankees, Michael Kay, a couple others as well that I'm sure I'm forgetting now. Yishai Ribo, Jewish music singer. Anyway, I sent them this message, and I spoke on Shabbat about how beautiful it is when the Jewish people rallies one to another, even when they don't know who the person is, they never met him. And you know what? The way it works is when you ask for a favor, you always owe a favor. That's how it works. Either way, nobody hesitated. Nobody hesitated. I called 3 different people. That was who I called before Shabbat. I mentioned it in Shul. 2 more people came to me and said they would like to get him a message. Someone else came to me right after Shul on Shabbat, messaged me. I want to work on these 2 players that I saw on a list that he likes. Amazing. Am Yisrael is amazing. Yom Kippur ends, I come home, and there's a message on my phone from who was it? There was a message on my phone, from T.Y. Hilton. Fantastic receiver. A person had a personal relationship. I got Rabbi. Just messaged me. I got the message. I sent it to the person who was gathering the videos. And then I got the message back. And the message came back and said, Gemar Chatima Tova. Unfortunately, Brad passed away today on Yom Kippur. I felt terrible. I felt so bad. We knew that this was what was in the cards. Still it hurts, even when you know something's coming. And I was just thinking, there's the idea that says, Mitzvah haba liyadecha. When a mitzvah comes to your hand, al tachmitzena. Don't let it become chametz. Where do we learn it from? The pasuk says, ushmartem et hamatzot. You have to guard the matzot. You have to make sure that the matzot don't become chametz. That's what the pasuk says. And the Chachamim explain, ushmartem et hamatzot. Don't just read it, and you should guard the matzot from becoming chametz. Read it, ushmartem et ha-mitzvot. Guard the mitzvot, that they shouldn't become chametz. When does something become chametz? You just let it sit. If you just let it sit for an extra couple of minutes, what happens to those matzot? They become chametz. Not only can't you use them for matzot, you got to throw them away. And I was just thinking, so many times we have a mitzvah in our hands, and if we let it sit even just a day, 2 days, and it's too late, and there's no mitzvah. And Brad Greenbaum is alav shalom. I want to dedicate this class and the Torah and the lessons and the mitzvot that are going to come from it. Li'ilui nishmato. To raise his neshama to the highest place in Gan Eden. A person who suffers like that has no averot, all of the yisurim, takes away any of their sins. But also for the family. His birthday was on Shabbat. Okay, that was the day before Kippur. A guy who passes away like that, he passes away pure. My friends, I have to share this with you. So I'm praying that this zechut goes for his family also. Mitzvah haba liyadecha, al tachmitzena. Don't let it wait. So I wanted, before I move on from this idea, because that's, I think, the first powerful lesson we receive, is this idea. The idea that mitzvot have an expiration date. And I have to share this because, there's certain things, no matter how long you leave it, those things in your fridge that have been there since the Civil War? Right? These things, it don't matter how long you leave them in the fridge. Really, you could have children that are younger than that item in the fridge. Fantastic. And there's other items, it says on the thing, use within 2 days of opening. Right? That's how it works. Some things you got to use within. You have an ice cream cone on a hot day. What's the expiration date? 5 minutes, not even 3 minutes. That's how long it lasts. The challenge with mitzvot is that we don't often know what the expiration date is. It doesn't have a sell-by date. Guy says, I need a loan. When's the sell-by date? You think, how long? Guys, if he needs a couple. No, because he also has 3 other people. The other guy comes forward. The guy helps him out. Chalas, there's no mitzvah. He lost it. Sell-by date was, as soon as it took the other guy. How many times do I reach out? I mentioned this a few times. I have a little WhatsApp group. It's called APB. You know what that stands for? You got to be a certain age to know that. All Points Bulletin. There used to be a time when they needed something, it was urgent. They would put out an all points bulletin, let everybody know, right? So I have it's called Shortlist APB. And you only get on this list if you ask me. When I have an interesting case of tzedakah or an urgent need, I reach out to this shortlist. People that want to be bothered, quote unquote. They want to be bothered by great tzedakah opportunities. So I have this APB. If you ask me to join it, I'll allow you the zechut. And then you get the message. You can help. You help. You don't help. You don't help. But you want to be on the list. Sometimes I reach out. We need a certain amount of money. Can I give you an example of when this happened? Alav Shalom. Albert Azrak's wife, Aviela Azrak, Sadeke, wonderful woman. Her grandfather is a Holocaust survivor. Recently, he passed away. But about, I would say, it was 1.5 years, 2 years before he passed away, he suddenly felt a stronger and stronger connection to Judaism. A lot to do with Albert. And he asked one day, he said, could you get me a pair of tefillin? Never even put on tefillin since the war. Could you get me a pair of tefillin? Albert reached out to me. He said, you know, my wife's grandfather, after being a Holocaust survivor, he would like a pair of tefillin. He's not well, he's in his bed, but this is what he wants to do. I put the message out. My friends, if I tell you, forget the money. I probably got from that request maybe 10 pairs of tefillin. Because people message me, I got 1 pair of tefillin, done. Next guy says, I would like the mitzvah. Sorry, it's gone. But if you want, you could give me a pair of tefillin, and if someone needs, I could give it to them. Some college kid on a campus out in the middle of nowhere, I reached out to a list of rabbis. You have someone who wants to put on tefillin, who's going to put them on every day, just needs a pair of tefillin, I'm your guy. I have 9 pairs. One after the next. Rabbi Friedman has guys. Rabbi Friedman, what a tzaddik. Not only does he work with us, but he works with people on campus. He works with people in prison. He brings Torah in the most beautiful way, to the darkest places. You don't even know. I meet random kids from our community. They're like, I don't know if you know this guy. I studied with him when I was in college. He used to come around. He's very nice. He always made sure I was learning. I don't know if you know him, Rabbi Friedman. I was like, Rabbi Friedman, I have the zechut to see his tzaddik of a face every day. What? Sammy, there's another minyan? You forgot yourself? What happened? You're getting soft. Yes? My friends? Isma. Right? That means great. You lose a mitzvah. Mitzvah ba liyadecha al tachmitzena. Now, of course, if you try to do the mitzvah, this guy who sent me the video, and the guy asked someone to get it, but he made the ask right away. The video got back a day later. That's not him losing the mitzvah, because that wasn't up to him. He did the mitzvah immediately. So before I move on, in the zechut of Brad Greenbaum, a Jew I never met. A Jew you never met. A Jew all the people who tried to help out his family by bringing a smile to his face also never met. In his zechut, I want everyone right now to think of a mitzvah that they have on their list, that they were supposed to do, haven't done yet, because they haven't got around to it yet. Someone once sent me a little square of paper, and on the paper was a little circle. It was red ink, a little circle. And on the bottom, in small letters, there was an explanation. I was like, what is this? The guy's giving me a paper with a red circle. If you're old enough, you'll remember the black mark. You remember that? Treasure Island? Yeah? Black circle in the hand. Yeah? What's this red circle? In tiny letters. In tiny, well, you're as old as me. Okay, anyway. On the tiny page, you know what it says on this round circle? It says, this is a round T-O-I-T. I'm like, what? And I got it. This is a round to it. Now you have a round to it. So all those things you've been pushing off till you got around to it, now you can do them. I was like, that is genius. I photocopied it, gave it to everybody. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. Mitzvah ba liyadecha al tachmitzena. Just 10 seconds. I want to see everybody. You have a mitzvah you've been pushing off? Mark, I'm starting with you. That you're going to do today. First of all, Hazaku Baruch. Ask your wife, there'll probably be many. Okay, but dedicate, you're going to ask your wife when you get home. Yes? Rabbi? Yes? Yes? Yes. A mitzvah that you've been pushing off, that you know you should do. It could be, by the way, not something that someone else asked you, Mark. Not something someone else asked you. It could even be a level that you know that you should be doing. Something you've been pushing off. A level of growth. Everybody's got one. Yes? You got? Shatnez. We're going to do a Shatnez before the holiday. I got to call the guy. We only got a 4-day window. I love that, yes. By the way, can I just say, Dave, you know what? Marriage also, you get with a round to it. It's called a ring.
Sammy can visit Israel.
Sorry? Sammy can visit Israel. By the way, I know a guy who can get you a flight. Way! Okay, Dan, yes? Mitzvah, you going to do it? Yes? We've got? Lulav etrog, I count it, yes. A mitzvah you're pushing off should be in the zechut of Brad Greenbaum. Hazaku Baruch. My friends, let's get to the second lesson. The second lesson to me is how Am Yisrael pulls for one another. Am Yisrael pushes one for one another in cases of tragedy. But my friends, why does someone have to have an inoperable brain tumor? Why does someone have to die for us to get together? Why is this happening only in these scenarios? Why do we get such a tiny window to enjoy this act of chesed? It's such a shame. If you could put in that effort for this, why can't we put in that effort and not have him be sick? Is this not pure? I want to quote you a pasuk. The pasuk says in this week's parasha, in the parasha V'zot HaBeracha, Vayhi b'Yishurun melech, and it will be Yishurun. Who's Yishurun? Who's Jeshurun? Us. K-A-J is Kahal Adath Jeshurun. Who's that? Us. Yishurun is the Jewish people. Okay? Bnei Yishurun is the children of Yishurun. That's the Jewish people. Okay? Now listen to this, my friends. Vayhi b'Yishurun melech, when the Jewish people will have their king, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'hitasef rashi am, when the heads of the people, hitasef, they come together, yachad shiftei Israel, when the Jewish people, the tribes of Israel, are yachad, are together. When is God the king over the Jewish people? V'hitasef rashi am, when the leaders of the people come together, when they gather, yachad shiftei Israel, when the tribes of Israel are yachad, they are as one, they are joined. My friends, I want to share with you something I think is so beautiful about this. There are many terms that we use to describe the Jewish people. The term Yisrael describes the Jewish people when they are fighting. Did you know that? Because the term Yisrael was a term that was given to Yaakov, a name, when he was fighting, struggling with the Malach. So Yisrael is a Jewish people who's supposed to be, or is living in a space or in a mindset of fighting to grow. That's Yisrael. That's why we say, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek leolam haba. All the Jewish people have a portion in the world to come. Like it says, Shneimar v'amech kulam tzadikim. Is the nation of Israel all tzadikim? Every single Jew you ever met was a tzaddik? What does it mean? Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek. If a Jew is fighting, yes, even if he's on the lowest level, he's already a tzaddik. Because we judge a person by the direction in which they're facing. My friends, so Yisrael is the Jewish people when they're fighting for growth. But the name Yishurun refers to the Jewish people when they are acting in a way which is yashar, which is straight, which is correct, which is the right way to be. So whenever the Jewish people are acting in that way, they're called Yishurun. I want to share with you something amazing. You guys remember the story of Dama ben Netina? Dama ben Netina was a non-Jewish person. He had a stone that the Jewish people needed for the Choshen HaMishpat. One of the stones on the breastplate came loose. And they needed that stone. Which stone was it? It was the tribe of Benjamin's stone that fell out. Now they lost it. They need to replace it. Very rare stone. Dama ben Netina has one of these stones. The rabbis go, they want to buy the stone, they tell them they'll pay any price. Yitz, do you remember what happened? What happened with the stone? They came to this man and they said, we want to buy the stone from you at any price. And Dama says, I can't sell you the stone. You know why? Do you remember? Because the stone is under the pillow of my father. I can't wake up my father. I can't sell you the stone. Anyway, the Chachamim, they double the price. They say game recognizes game. They say, okay, double the price. Triple. They keep adding. He says, no, not for any price. Non-Jewish guy. We learn Kibbud Avayim from Dama ben Netina. Anyway, okay, they leave. God blessed Dama ben Netina for this act of Kibbud Avayim. He blessed him that his cow should give birth to a red heifer. The red heifer is extraordinarily rare. The price for such a perfect red heifer is inestimable. And not only, one opinion is that he made the money back for the stone from the red heifer. Okay, either way. But I just saw a beautiful pirush. That stone, first of all, why did it fall out? Number one, right? We have enough Jews on 47th Street. They couldn't figure out how to mount it in a way that the stone wouldn't fall out. You gotta love it, by the way. Every Jewish guy, 47th Street, what's his name? Joel. You get to see Joel, he's got peot like this, his beard like this. You're like, yoily. No, it's... My friends call me Joel. No, they don't. Come on. What happened? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, that's a good answer. I'll tell you the answer. I saw amazing chidush. There's one opinion that says that on the stone of Binyamin was written Bnei Yeshurun. Shiftei Yeshurun. The tribes of Jeshurun. You hear that? We said the pasuk the other day. Umochlan l'shiftei Yeshurun. We said it last night. So they were called the tribes of Jeshurun. But at that point, something happened. The Jewish people's level dipped. And there's a machloket, what you write on the last stone, on the stone of Binyamin. Do you write Shiftei Yeshurun or do you write Shiftei Yah? And the commentators explain that it depends. Do the Jewish people, are they worthy of the title Shiftei Yeshurun or are they worthy of the title of Shiftei Yah? That's what you write on the stone. Say the commentators, the Jewish people's level dipped to the point that they were no longer worthy of having Shiftei Yeshurun on the Choshen HaMishpat. So God ensured that framing or not, casing or not, that stone would fall out. The Chachamim understood the message. They wrote Binyamin and they changed it to Shiftei Yah. Fascinating. My friends, like a person's own personal name, we get to choose how people speak about our name. Correct? You know, if you sponsor Breakfast in the Class, Week of Cold Brew for a whole year, yeah, David E. Ash, then the world, what does it know about David E. Ash? Maybe not, but not over here. Now we know more about you than cold brew. But people on the other side of the world listening to this class, they know David E. Ash is a generous guy and he really likes cold brew. Right? He really needs to stop cold brew a few days before every fast because that guy's going to have some headaches, right? Do you hear me? We control how people speak about us. Shem Tov, it's the greatest gift in the world. There's a very wonderful Baal Tzedakah from our community. Eli Gindi, very special man, has done a lot for our community. And I'll never forget when he spoke about his father, when his father passed. He spoke about his father and he said, the greatest gift my father ever gave me was his good name. What a powerful line that is. Yitz, you ready? That's hopefully the best gift I'll ever give you, is your good last name. So that Hashem, you should follow in the ways of your grandfather, to be a leader, a rabbi in the community, inshallah. No pressure. My friends, the same way we decide what our name is, collectively, the Jewish people also decide. Are we Shiftei Yeshurun? Are we the tribes of people who do right? Or are we just Shiftei Yah? I mean, just is not a small thing. But are we just the people that God chose and now He's stuck with? Because He promised us He would never leave us. Which are we? I read a story only yesterday about a young boy who goes to a baseball game with his friends. Anyway, he had to go outside to meet his parents. He runs outside, gets the thing from his father, mother, whatever, comes back to the entrance, feels his pockets. Oh my gosh. He forgot. He left the tickets with his friends. His friend was holding all their tickets. Now he's outside the stadium Can't get in. He can't believe it. He's like expensive tickets. He couldn't. There are no phones back then. He says, "Listen, we're in section this. You could go, my friends. They'll tell you I was sitting with them. They'll give you the ticket." And a lot of times they're very suspect, because what happens? You go to the place. They have 4 tickets and 3 guys. Where's the 4th guy? Hiding somewhere else until you let in the 5th friend. Sorry if I just spoiled everyone's move. Don't worry, I don't think the New York Yankees ticket agents are listening to Breakfast in the Class, although you never know. Guys. Sammy, you know why? Because the season's over. My friends. Anyway, they're telling him, look, that doesn't work, Anyway, the supervisor sees there's a commotion. She comes over. So what's the problem? They said the guy says he has tickets. He came out to get something. His friends are inside. He wants us to go back. She says, look at him. They said, what do you mean, look at him? She says, he has one of those things on his head. What does he have on his head? Kippah. Has one of those things on his head. They said, so what? They said, people who wear one of those things on their head, they don't lie. They're honest. And now, it hurts me to say that I know what every person who heard this is thinking. Not all of them. Is there anyone here that was not thinking that? There was a woman who was a supervisor in Yankee Stadium who did not think like a bunch of Jews who were sitting in a Torah class. And that's a tragedy. Because that means that we're Shiftei Yah, not Shiftei Yishurun. Shiftei Yishurun means that that's what they should be saying. Now, the person who wrote this, I can't remember who it was, but he asked an interesting question. He said, who got the guy, that boy, David, with his kippah on, who got him the fact that someone believed him? Someone took his word. Someone accepted that he was being honest. Did he earn that for himself? Was it his kippah? No. It is the previous people that this woman met with a kippah that earned that opinion in her psyche, in her thoughts, when she met someone. It was an investment that people who told the truth, who were honest, who were authentic, who were reputable, who had integrity. It was those people who earned this for anyone that she would ever meet that was wearing a kippah. What a pay it forward moment. Shiftei Yishurun. My friends, we're holding right after Yom Kippur. And there's a famous Gemara, and I'll end with this chidush. The Gemara says, Ulekachtem lachem b'yom harishon, that Sukkot is coming up, and you'll take for yourself, by Yom harishon, on the first day, you'll take for yourself lulav, etrog, adasim, aravot. The Gemara asks, what do you mean on the first day? On Sunday? What do you mean on the first day? What does the first day mean? The Gemara says something really interesting. It says, Rishon lecheshbon avonot. The first day to the reckoning of sins. You hear that? The first day of reckoning of sins. And everyone asks the same question. What does that mean? What, you can't sin? There's 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. You can't sin? I don't know. I'm sure I already sinned. I'm sure I already made a mistake. The first day of sin is Sukkot. That's when the ticker starts again. The Gemara says that the Jewish people are so busy with their mitzvot, putting up their sukkah, buying their lulav, they don't have time to sin. I don't know. I must be particularly skilled. I have a certain set of skills. Right? I'm capable of sinning immediately. Yes? What does it mean? You don't have time to sin, that's what it means. I want to share with you, it does not say Rishon le'avonot. Perhaps what the Gemara means, it's Rishon lecheshbon avonot. The reckoning. Our rabbis teach us something remarkable. On Yom Kippur, the Jewish people, we start our day by saying, we're going to pray with the sinners. We start our day by forgiving everybody. You can't go into Yom Kippur until you go and make up with the person that you hurt. So where is Am Yisrael post Yom Kippur? They are Yachad Shiftei Yisrael. They are Vayhi Bishurun Melech. The Jewish people are united. They have forgiven one another. They're in a new spirit. They're in a new head. Remarkably, the Gemara says that when the Jewish people have shalom between them, even a generation where they are sinning terribly, like the generation of Achav, where they were terrible sinners, but they had peace amongst them, they would go to war, and no one would die. Because when you have shalom, all of your sins are held in abeyance. There's no punishment for the sins. Maybe that's why it says Rishon, not Rishon la'avonot, Rishon lecheshbon. It's the first day when we start counting. Why? You know what? That period between Rosh Kippur and Sukkot, you don't have time. It doesn't mean you don't have time to sin. It means you don't have time to ruin what you did on Yom Kippur. Suddenly you have Sukkot, big family meals. The guy gets on your nerves again. He takes the last piece of chicken that you were eyeing. Now they make the short stop on the way. Pass me the thing. Oh, I'm just gonna, is it okay? You poured before you asked if it's okay. Okay, it's okay, you already poured. You have time to get on each other's nerves. You broke the shalom. Cheshbon avonot begins again. My friends, let us not lose the power of Yom Kippur for our mitzvot and averot, but let us also hold on to the element of forgiveness, the element of relationship that we walked into Yom Kippur with, because it is such a great protection when Am Yisrael acts together, when we fight for one another, when we pull and do favors for one another. That is when we are entitled to this definition of Shiftei Yeshurun, the tribe of Jeshurun, the tribe of people who do the right thing. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.